All right, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Invocation will be led by Mr. Douglas and the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Van Meter.
Pray with us if you would. All those who attend. Lord, we pray for safety and security also for our first responders here in the community. Also guide all of our local and national leaders, communities, and also the greater plot of our nation.
Amen.
Allegiance to the
Flag of the United States of America, to the republic, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we have an 80% quorum with Mark Moody absent. Can I get a motion for approval of the minutes of the previous meeting?
Chairman, I make a motion to approve.
All in favor? Carries. Can I have a motion for the approval of tonight's agenda?
Chairman, I make a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Second. All in favor? Okay, before we begin, I'd like a moment to clarify that the Planning Commission is a recommending body to the Columbia County Board of Commissioners. Decisions made on rezoning and variance requests tonight will be forwarded to the Commissioners for final action on August 6, 2024. If you wish to address the Board of the Commissioners at their meeting, please see Ms. Stoller to obtain a request to speak form. Any request with a public hearing will have a minimum of 10 minutes permitted per side for the presentation of opinions, data, and evidence by proponents or opponents of a request. The applicant will be allowed to speak first, and any member of the public may speak after. Either side may cede their time during the hearing if they so desire. We have new business. Ms. Montgomery?
Yes, sir. This is the preliminary plat for Section 3 of Tillery Park, which is located off Baker Place Road. This shows the location of this section, and I'm on the south side of Baker Place Road. And this section includes 120 residential lots on 37 acres. 92 of the lots are single-family detached lots, with the remaining 28 being single-family attached lots. Those are located right there. Minimum lot size for the single-family detached lots is 5,500 square feet, and the average lot size for those is 7,249 square feet. For the single-family attached lots, the minimum lot size is 2,640 square feet, with an average of 3,546 square feet. This development does have some alley-loaded lots, and the setbacks for this development are based on kind of the access for the parcels. For the front-loading lots, the required setback is minimum of 15 feet from the right-of-way, although in places that has been increased to 18 feet to accommodate water lines, 7.5 feet from the side property lines, and 10 feet from the rear property lines. For the alley-loaded lots, the setbacks are 10 feet from the rights-of-way, and the alley-loaded lots in this section are all single-family attached units, so the side setbacks there are 0 feet. 50-foot buffers are required on the perimeter of this project, and that does include a landscape berm to be constructed along Baker Place Road. Several of the open space areas are provided in this section as well, including the future amenity area, which will require a separate plan review submittal. Sidewalks and street trees are to be provided on both sides of the road, and staff is recommending approval of the preliminary plat.
Can I get a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the preliminary plat for Tillery Park, Section 3 off Baker Place Road.
Second. All in favor? Carries. History?
Yes, so this one is an architectural review on 435 West Avon Court. It's on 1.67 acres, and the current zoning is P1 professional, as per the rezoning file in 170507. Project is a veterinary clinic. This is the location, which is off West Avon Court. This is the zoning. It's P1 as part of the original rezoning for there. There's some S1 out there for the fairgrounds, RA zoning, and then a PUD. is a close-up of the aerial. And this is the site plan for this vet clinic. Just adjacent to that, this was approved in 2020. That was the preschool that was built. And this was approved earlier this year for the dentist that's under construction. These are the elevations for the vet clinic. So they have stone and hardyboard siding and shingle roof with standing metal on the smaller porches. These are the other side elevations. Here's a rendering of the overall project, and you can see that the wood detailing columns, the roof trusses also add some visual. Staff is recommending approval as compliance with the zoning condition.
Thank you. Motion?
Chairman, I make a motion to approve the architectural review clinic at
All in favor? Passes. Douglas?
Yes, so this is an application for a major planned unit PUD revision at 4113 Hammond's Ferry. This shows the location of the lot in question in the Jones Creek development. We'll see on the next slide as well, within the planned unit development for Jones Creek. This is an aerial of the site. And the subject of the major revision request is that the property owner was replacing the fence in his backyard. And as you can see here, the fence was installed. However, code and the architectural parameters outlined in the Jones Creek HOA, by the Jones Creek HOA, dictate that fences exceeding 6 feet tall are not allowed. This fence was installed just south of 8 feet, pretty much running its entire length. Finding that out later, the applicant then submitted this request for major revision in hopes of keeping his existing fence now, again, standing at just south of 8 feet tall. Things that the county considers when considering major revision applications are, things that the applicant submitted along with the rest of his application. Considerations like, he had concerns about his neighbor's dogs, his neighbor's floodlights shining into his backyard, his desire for additional privacy, which is, in some cases a reasonable request regarding the backyard. However, other elements that we weigh are, the opinion, public opinion in the surrounding area, as well as, adverse effect to the surrounding area. And so we, us and the applicant have reached back and forth out in correspondence with the Jones Creek HOA to see if they would be in support of us granting an exception to our code, because that would have to happen kind of along with an exception to the architectural standards that the HOA holds for the community. They need approval from both, or the fence is going to have to be shortened either way. The HOA has gotten back to us at this point, and the most recent, written correspondence that we've received from them is that they're of the opinion that they're not in support of the request for the 8-foot tall fence to remain, as opposed to a 6-foot fence being allowed to stand in this location. One of the another concern that the applicant highlighted in his application was the topography of the site. That can be considered in many cases. In this case, it's not the most significant topo that we've seen in affiliation with the request, but we did just want to illustrate it in the PowerPoint because it was mentioned by the applicant. This is, as a part of this review, there was a code enforcement visit to the site when the initial complaint was made about the fence's altered height. An as-built survey kind of was the result of the site visit. It also revealed that, among the retaining walls on the site, this one that's highlighted in red here encroaches, if you can see the dotted line kind of running about 10 feet in from that lot line on that side. That is a drainage and utility easement that the county maintains access to. That's pretty standard across most residential lot lines. You guys have probably seen that in other scenarios as well. The retaining wall extending into that easement, it's fine. There's not any kind of stormwater calming, facility there in that easement. But we just need the housekeeping records of an easement encroachment agreement for that retaining wall. regardless of the outcome of their major revision request. And so that's why this slide is included. Lastly, this just shows that on the future development map, as is the case with the entire Jones Creek development, it's in the neighborhood character area. And again, ultimately weighing all of the factors that we do going into any kinds of these requests, staff is of the opinion that we're recommending disapproval for this application, given that the HOA is not, at least at this point, that we're aware of, willing to grant the exception to the architectural review. That is the largest factor, and so we're recommending disapproval of this application.
Thank you. The owners and applicant, Davidsons, would you like to come forward and make your request for this revision?
Yes, thank you. I appreciate your time. I'll be brief. I did update Dylan. I have not spoken to Trip Nanny, who is the president of Jones Creek Homeowners Association. It is under review, and I've had at least 6 neighbors write in to sort of ask them to re-review. I'm supposed to have a verdict for that sometime in August, first or second week, hopefully before the 6th. My ultimate goal here was to get approval for the revision so that I could let the enforcement officer go and she could close her case. If the homeowners association decides that I need to cut it, then that's exactly what I'll
Want to wait a couple of weeks? Is that what you're saying?
do. Yeah, I'm prepared to take it all the way to the next level if I need to. This complaint via a neighbor seems to be driving the entire process. It doesn't seem to be really driven around the height of the fence or the look of the fence. It seems to be around how I'm paying for all my revisions to my property.
Right now, the homeowners association, all we have is no approval. Not a,
We haven't received any kind of now the most not in support.
Thank you.
thank you. Sir?
I think the options on the table for there are recommendations for approval, disapproval. Want to wait for updated information, you could
That would be up to
wanted to
the
request
applicant.
to postpone either to the August 1st date, planning commission date for your then recommendation with that updated information, or the 15th if felt that the information prior to the August 1st, which we would need that probably in the next week or so anyways, put it in your packet. So probably looking, I would say more likely the
15th.
the 15th would be more appropriate, just to ensure that. And if that was the case, if you guys were to do that, we would certainly enforcement that longer period of review, so that the pending case would have an update to progress at that.
Sir, go ahead.
Would ask
Go
about
ahead.
postponing it.
Well, let me also suggest that we continue the public hearing and see if there's any additional comment
Okay,
before we
Good idea.
make any decisions.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience in favor of this that would like to come forward?
Live on the other side of the complaining neighbor. This,
Name and an address for the
Yeah,
record, ma'am.
Gerald and Sandra Jones, 4117 Hammond's Ferry,
Perfect, thank you.
which is, and very nice. I don't understand. Problem is, I mean,
The height.
it's on your property. I mean, it's your fence.
Fortunately, no.
Okay.
There's ordinances, and then I live in a neighborhood as well that has an HOA, so, and I've been on the architectural review committee before, so I get it.
Well, if I was voting, I'd dismiss it.
We'll leave the fence right where it is.
All righty. Thank you. there anyone in the audience who would like to speak in opposition of this major PUD revision?
I've been in contact with them today. They are going to relook at the case and show me their reasons for why they would or wouldn't. They didn't necessarily say no, they're just thinking about it. And the other thing is, a lot of them are on vacation, so spread out. There are 9 members on that board. I'm assuming it would take a majority to get approval from the well as written testimony from the other neighbors that are in direct view across the street, 3 or 4 houses up, going straight across the street. They have a direct view.
So with that in mind, would you be willing to postpone this until we give you a little bit of time? And I think August 1st would give you enough time, or the 15th? Because that's the next time we meet.
I'm always going to err on the side of being safe, so the 15th, given that it is the July and people are still coming and going. But I think I can try to have it done before. 15th would be fine.
I think with everything, because what we've seen, I think it's fair to give you a little bit more time.
Thank you.
Thank you. I get a motion on this major PUD revision.
Chairman, I make a motion to postpone file RZ 24-07-03, major PUD revision to allow an 8-foot fence at 4113 Hammond's Ferry to the August 15th Planning Commission meeting.
Second.
All in favor? Motion to postpone.
No, Sheriff's request for a rezoning at 3905 Roberts Road from C2 to C3 with a conditional use for light industrial uses for a proposed cabinet shop on 1.1 acres. Shows location of the property, north side of Roberts Road, again, just to the west of Old Evans Road. Shows the current zoning, again, most of it is all C2 over there. This does back up to the railroad tracks, and then on the other side is some C1, kind of some odd rezonings, we'll say, in the area. Here's a review of the site. Again, we're looking at 2 office warehouses that are kind of facing each other. Multiple users within this complex. You have ones that are from retail uses all up to more light industrial uses. That kind of is why we're here today, to kind of get this more in line with how it's developed and how it's will be used in the future as well. There's a plat of the property and the overall as-built. So we'll be dealing with some variances on the next application that in regards to the setbacks and everything. So we won't really get into what we're looking at here, but again, we have the 2 office warehouses kind of facing each other on the site itself, and the site as it currently stands. So overall, there is no really concern with going to a C3 with the light industrial use, conditional use there. Again, there's multiple uses within this area. You have everything from churches and duplexes to more industrial uses, all zoned C2 across the area. And also with it backing up to the railroad tracks, there's not really any concern there on the back side of it. In terms of future development of the area, this is within the Martinez Activity Center. This is supposed to be a mixed-use activity center. It does allow for some industrial uses in the area. It's supposed to be on the periphery. However, this is existing. It's been there since the 80s. It's one of those that we have, as we've seen recently, we do have some older office warehouses that are having to kind of be updated to meet the current needs and also current zoning classifications. Due to all those factors, staff recommends approval of the request from C2 to C3 with a conditional use for light industrial uses.
Thank you.
Staff recommendation. Yep.
Donor, Mr. Jackson, like to come forward?
I have a tough job. We're toughest job in the county, probably. Yeah, we're trying to change it to C3 from C2. There wasn't a C3 when this property was built. We had a tenant in the back corner come in there several years ago. Light, modeling, rock out of there. Got into building a few cabinets. Then he left or sold the business, or Spencer Quick came in and took over the business. What happened, he was doing more cabinetry. Thinking, thought of that at all. And then went to get his permit or his license. That was turned down at that point. So we felt like that it would be smart to go ahead and try to get a C3. That shouldn't impact where we're at. When we were doing this, and you're looking at some of the other things that a C3 it permits some auto stuff. All they do is create it. Some of the other things, a couple other tenants in there didn't stand.
Thank you.
Thank y'all very much.
Is that where the electrical place is? Yeah, okay.
Anyone in the audience in favor of this rezoning? Like to come forward? State your name and address, please.
Yeah, so, I do custom woodworking, cabinets, one-man shop, so I'm not looking to become place around, so, yeah, just looking to try to get a variance for this area so that I can provide for my family.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One in the audience opposed? Zoning. Could I have a motion for this rezoning?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to recommend approval of file RZ 24-07-04, rezoning from C2 to C3 with conditional use for light industrial at 3905 Roberts Road.
Second.
Favor? Carries. Okay, now we got some variances.
That we do. Again, the variance requests are at 3905 Roberts Road. You're currently zoned C2. Looking at variances is setbacks and buffers on the site. It shows location of the property, current zoning, also aerial view of the site, plat, and the as-built. So the issue is that when you rezone from C2 or from C2 to C3 and your properties next door are C2, you then have a buffer against them, and also an increased building setback. So overall, the site has been built to old code. We're looking at basically a 5-foot setback over here. This one is anywhere from 20 to over 30 feet, and then at the back, a 10-foot setback. You also would have buffers on the property as well. Again, this building is very much in the way of those, and on the east side, again, there's some buffer there. On the front of the property, there's a little encroachment here for the concrete loading dock. Not a big deal. Overall, the only concern from staff is this little area over here where the outdoor storage is. Where there is a condition with that, we'll kind of get to that in a moment. In terms of reducing setbacks and buffers on this, to the west is a dog groomer. Not really an issue there. It's not residential. It's a C2, so there is technically a buffer there. However, the building itself provides a pretty good buffer, and you can't really go behind the building and do anything with a 5-foot setback. On the east side, again, you have a pretty large separation there. Again, not an actual buffer itself, but a good separation. And again, the building is also there as well. Again, that front piece is really the only thing that has outdoor storage that's really questionable. Due to that, we do have a condition for that. Again, this shows that what we're looking at, as again, the city electrical supply has outdoor storage for pipes and that sort of thing. The issue is that when you rezone to C3 and have outdoor storage like that, it's supposed to be screened from the public. That's really all we're looking for in this situation. We do have a condition with it that prior to issuance of the 2025 occupational taxes, outdoor storage area shall screen as slats, fabric, or another approved method of screening. So it would just be, pick what you want to do there and have it on the side itself, or on the fence itself. That's how we would accomplish that condition. That includes staff recommendation.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Jackson, you want to come forward? Or?
I'd have known that. Kudzu that I can't kill it. But anyway, that sounds great.
Okay. The audience like to speak in favor of this variance? Anybody opposed? Okay, can I get a motion, sir?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to recommend approval with condition of file VA 24-07-03, variances to reduce the building setbacks, buffers, and screening requirements at 3905 Roberts Road.
Second.
All in favor? Carries. We have any legal matters to discuss today, sir?
Not yet, but I'll let you know if we do.
Staff and commissioner comments?
Oh, good job.
Any public comments? Okay, make a motion, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Chairman, I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?